Hanging with. Here we go. We got Aries. June 2020. Yeah. Hanging with. Yeah. All right, we got the first ones. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Hangin' With. This is Street Level Spirituality. We got Hangin' With Aries, June 2020. We're going to see what's going on in the astro weather. We're going to do a tarot reading. We're just going to dial it in on any level. So anyway, welcome, Aries. It's a funky time, guys, right? All sorts of stuff going on. We got the obvious, right? And we got all sorts of retrograde planets going down. We got a whole bunch of more retrograde planets going down. Stuff getting all wacky. We got Mars going into Aries, which is your planet. So you're going to be feeling at home, but there's going to be a lot of forward energy wanting to move forward when things are slowing down or going retrograde. Then we got all sorts of wacky Neptunian, Dreamtime, Pisces, flowing weird energy that's just going to make you feel wacky, especially if you want to move forward. So it's a strange time, great time to kind of just check yourself, right? In general. Anyway, Hanging With is our format every month where we go through each sign and, we do the astro weather, we do the tarot card reading for you and just kind of dial you in for the month. Make sure that you're well prepared. So when you move into the month, you're doing it with skill. Anyway, what I notice in general with this month, like I said, it's just a month to kind of check yourself and not move forward with what you're feeling, right? So we're going to have a lot of different feelings. We're going to have a lot of different ideas. We're going to have a lot of different visions. We're going to have a lot of energy moving forward. And we're going to need to really stop, look and listen, stop, drop, and roll, kind of see what's going on because we're going to, the way the universe works to kind of heal us and to bring us to our next spiritual evolution is it kind of puts a carrot out in front of us sometimes. And then it wants us to kind of take the bait, so to say, right? And then when you take the bait, then if you do it without skill, right, without self-awareness, then you find yourself in situations where you learn about yourself, right? So if you don't really care and you just want to jump into stuff, that teaches you on one level. But if you want to be mindful of what you're doing and moving forward, especially as an Aries, right, you got the Rams, you want to kind of move forward quickly, it's a great time to kind of check yourself before you jump into things, right? So what we're going to do first is we'll dial into the astro weather. God, I'm still working on this. Here we go. Astro weather, yay! And this is the part of the show where we see what's going on for June. Now, if I did everything correctly, we have the astro weather overlay, and this is actually for June 5th when we have the full moon in Sagittarius. It's a lunar eclipse. So we'll keep that up just to kind of talk as we talk about the different astrology for the month. Okay, quick overview here. June 3rd, we have the Sun conjunct Venus in Gemini. And we've had this ongoing retrograde of Venus in Gemini. So it's just some awareness around our relationships and engaging with other people, romantic relationships. It's just bringing awareness to that energy before it goes direct at the end of the month. So just anything to do with attraction to other people or relationships, you just don't want to get too involved right now in other people or making commitments in our relationships too much because you're going to kind of regret it towards the end of the month. It's kind of like waking up in bed and you see someone you didn't really want to be there with, right? So also June 3rd, we have Venus in Gemini square Mars and Pisces. So the Sun's conjunct and it's squaring Mars and Pisces. But the real player comes in on June 5th. It's a full moon in Sagittarius, obviously, and it's a lunar eclipse. This is a good time to kind of tune in, get spiritual, get spiritualized, really focus inward, and that's kind of going to be the theme for the month in general. It's time to get real and look at your long-term goals and kind of tune into the bigger picture, so to say. It's a great time to also consider kind of other people. It's slowing down. Sometimes we're so fixed on our own soul progress and our focal point that we kind of need to stop sometimes and just kind of look around us and look at our other relationships, look at the bigger plan, really get tuned in with what our heart really wants and where our spirit's really leading us. Consider everyone in the picture, and then make a decision, make a plan to move forward, so to say, right? It's a great time to design your future with other people in mind. A couple other quick smaller ones. June 5th, we got Mercury in Cancer, communicating from a more emotional point of view. June 6th, we've got the Sun in Gemini square Mars in Pisces. Now, the Sun in Gemini is all about communication and connecting and ideas. And if it's squaring something, there's a challenge. There's a challenge energy. And Mars in Pisces just doesn't really feel at home there. It's about to move into Aries. But it's just kind of this confused focal point. And you'll see this theme a lot this month. So June 6th, just don't, especially with being in Aries and Mars being in Pisces, it's just a real wishy-washy energy. Things you're going to want to be chatty and communicate, but you're not going to be feeling very clear about it, right? About your direction moving forward. Just a good time to chill, right? So less than a week later, on June 11th, we have the Sun in Gemini square Neptune in Pisces, more Piscean energy. This is some more energy that's going to be leading up to Neptune going retrograde in Pisces a little bit further in the month. And again, this is triggering this whole Venus and Gemini in retrograde. So these are going to be times of relationships kind of testing us. And again, we don't want to make any commitments. We don't want to, not till the end of the month. This month is about not making commitments, not jumping into things just because they feel exciting, right? This month is testing our emotional maturity and how we can tame our urgency, so to say, right? Let's see. June 13th, we have Mars conjunct Neptune in Pisces. So again, this is going to be tying in with Aries, being your planet. And again, this Neptune in Pisces is this energy that's building, that's very fantastical. Neptune is kind of this fantasy world. And it's going to be going retrograde in Pisces, which already, Pisces is super spacey also, right? So again, it's just moving forward, wanting to move forward in these fantasy realms that may not be tuned into reality. You're going to have to check yourself, okay? Big one for the month is June 18th. We have Mercury going retrograde in Cancer until July 12th. Not great news for a lot of people. Mercury retrograde is a time when we slow down in our communications. We have to slow down in travel. We have to be careful when we're driving. We have to be careful when we're doing anything that has to do with traveling. We can have issues with computers. We can have issues with cars. We can have issues in our communications. I don't know if you ever watched Three's Company, but the premise was that there was always a miscommunication that led to some other big story, right? So we want to look out for those kind of miscommunications that lead into bigger stories. How can we think clearly when our emotions are dialed up to 11? It's going to take focus to see things for what they really are. It's an opportunity to purify our emotional balance with reality. So keep that in mind. That's a little towards past the middle of the month. Not a great time to initiate things. Great time to complete things. This month's all about finishing things and not starting new commitments if you can. Now, this is going to be going all the way till July 12th. So you got a little under a month of Mercury retrograde. If you have anything that you're initiating, initiate it before June 18th and then complete it between June 18th and July 12th. Okay. A couple other small things. We've got, again, these are Mars. This is Aries specific, right? We have Mars in Pisces, sextiling Pluto in Capricorn. Sextiles are flowing energy. And then also Mars in Pisces on June 20th, sextiling Jupiter in Capricorn. So there's going to be some sort of, again, these are tricks, right? These are expansive opportunities. These are transformative opportunities with both Pluto and Jupiter. And Mars is going to want to move forward, but with it in Pisces, it feels groggy, it feels cloudy, right? So you're going to have to really slow down that Aries energy and really look and see what's really and what's really happening, because you don't want to step into the trap, so to say. Okay, one of the bigger ones for the month in June 20th, the sun enters the sign of Cancer. So it's Crab Fest at everywhere under the sun. We want to feel at home. We want to feel safe. We want to feel loved. we want to feel nurtured, and we want to be loving. So that's Cancer. Just the vibe in general shifts on June 20th, and it's a good thing because Cancer, we're already kind of sequestered to home anyway, right? So this is an opportunity for us to kind of chill out a little bit and feel comfortable at home and feel more connected with others also. So the next day, June 21st, we have a new moon in Cancer and also our annular solar eclipse. The gas pedal is pushed on an already emotional month. We reach its height and we see what we're made of here. It could be a peak moment in this Cancer retrograde cycle. So again, this is anytime we have solar eclipses, this is major shifts for the next 6 months. It closes a chapter and it opens up a whole new chapter. Doors close, doors opening. That's what solar eclipses are. Okay? So new moons in generally, it's kind of this void feeling of like, ugh, you know, like there's no energy moving. It's just a great time to be alone. You know, new moons, I try to stay alone. And then full moons, the same thing. I try to stay alone because full moons can get you wrapped up in all sorts of stuff. So just great meditation moments throughout the month are new and full moons. On June 23rd, we've got another retrograde going. We have Neptune retrograde in Pisces until the end of November, November 29th. So let's all meet at Planet Hollywood in the 16th dimension and order me a wake-up call. I'll be there in last 15 minutes ago. So it's a kooky time. All we needed was another planet retrograde. Following the 3 from May and Mercury retrograde in Cancer, we now find the majority of the planets in retrograde position as Neptune joins the party in what the fuck Pisces. Okay? Don't believe a damn thing you think, feel, or imagine, or you're sure to fuck something up. Okay? So that's the notes for Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Now, I say planet, but let's meet at Planet Hollywood because Neptune is considered Planet Hollywood, right? It's fantasy. It's the fantasy world. It can also relate to deceit, you know, someone deceiving you. So you have to be really, really mindful. And being retrograde in Pisces is just a really wacky place to be. Neptune is already fantastical as it is. Pisces is like the ultimate space out, right? So we're really spacing out here. Not a good time to be eating mushrooms. Not a good time to be tripping out on shit, right? This is a time to be very practical and realize that the reality that we're seeing could actually be very distorted. So again, yet another indication for the month that we don't need to be moving forward here, right? This is not a time to be feeling this emotional urgency to jump on some bandwagon and get all hyped about something. This is not when you know, jump up on stage and start, you know, blaring your hype on, I don't know, whatever, you know, people do weird shit. So anyway, dude, I don't even know what to say about this one because this goes until the end of November. It's pretty much the rest of the year, right? Up until past Thanksgiving. And so we're just going to be living in this fantasy reality, and you're going to see people coming up with all sorts of ideas. Now, on the positive side of this, it's a great time to be writing a book. It's a great time to be writing a screenplay. It's a great time to be getting in touch with those fantasy worlds. And also, if you're strong enough in your psychic faculties and you're able to really tune in, you'll be able to, you can really tap into some real deep information. Again, you have to be mindful here because this can be deceptive, okay? And you also need to be mindful of people deceiving you. So it's a great time to just, like I said, this whole month is all about chilling out. But that goes until the end of the year, guys, so just watch it. Okay, good news. On June 25th, we have Venus going direct in Gemini. So it's been retrograde. Hopefully we didn't make any commitments. Hopefully we didn't get any relationships. So the good news is that Venus is direct. That is, unless you fell for a trap, and now you'll be regretting that new relationship when you wake up next to Mr. Wrong. So that's the notes for the aspect. Hopefully we didn't get any big commitments, and hopefully we didn't getting anyone pregnant or some weird shit. I don't even know, man. Venus and Gemini's a wacky one, man. Geminis are twins. You got three ways. You got third wheels, wacky, you know. And then you mix this with like fantasy world. Oh my God, I don't even know what's going on out there, guys. I just want to know, or I don't want to know. I just don't want to know what you guys are doing behind closed doors right now. Whew. All right, June 28th. Good one for Aries. We got Mars entering Aries. That's your planet back at home. Mars goes home and is feeling confident, snug, and happy. It's ready to do shit. It's time to act. Just make sure you're not doing stuff while your mind is an egg in a frying pan. And what I mean by that is all these wacky, we got 5 of the planets retrograde, you know? I mean, this is like, you're just being tempted to fuck up right now. You're being tempted into doing rash stuff. And, you know, especially with this Gemini wants to go get out and party. Everyone wants to get out and party. Everyone wants to do things, but no one's feeling clear emotionally about what's going on, right? So it's kind of like, you know, total madness. Maybe it's good that we're all sequestered to our houses right now. I don't know, right? Be wise, be nimble, see things for what they really are. Don't be deluded, and move forward with confidence. No room for emo Joe and his feelings about what is what, right? It's not a time to be driven by your emotions and these crazy ideas about stuff, okay? Because there'll be plenty of those going around. But it is an aspect that wants to move forward. It is an aspect that wants to take action. So just kind of, you have to have that detached view and kind of come at it from that kind of monk-like attitude of the observer, right? And if the observer can step out of his own emotional urgencies, right, and his own emotional pushes and pulls, then he's able to see things clearly. Then the action he takes moving forward can be really powerful and strong. And we need forward action right now. We need things to happen. We can't just sit around for 5 months, right? But we need to do it with mindfulness. So don't get tempted. The universe has got the carrot out. Don't fuck it up. Okay. June 28th, Mars in Aries sextiles Saturn in Aquarius. We got some sort of responsibility with the group energy and taking action. June 30th, last big one for the month, is retrograde Jupiter conjunct retrograde Pluto in Capricorn. Well, we have 5 total planets in retrograde, right? So let's back this bitch up into another bitch backing up, and make sure you exchange insurance information, because we got 2 planets hitting each other conjunct in backwards motion. Shit gets shrill, and the weather's been taking you there, but you'll find out what you're made of. You got more strength than you may have thought. This month is all about self-reflection and seeing what's real and what's not. Drop it into second gear and break, and what they call, engine brake this shit into July. Okay, that's what I meant. Engine brake it, that's what I meant. So anyway, stay chill, stay aware, just learn how to sort shit out, okay? Fantasy, reality, sometimes fantasy is reality, who knows, right? So anyway, trippy month, Aries, you're especially on the forefront of this. You got a lot of Mars energy flying around. So just be really, really mindful and triple check, measure 3 times, and then act, okay? So that's your astro weather for the month of June in 2020. Keep your eyes open. It's getting wacky out there. All right, I just want to check my, oh, yeah, there it is. It's happening. We're live. So anyway, let's turn the volume down on this one. Just want to check my stream here. All right, so we're cooking. And that said, hopefully everyone's doing good. We're going to move into the portion of the show where we do a tarot reading just for Aries, just for the month of June, and see if we can tune into some more energy that's more specific and may speak to you on other levels. So that said, let's move over to our Hangin' With camera for the tarot portion of the show. Hanging with Aries tarot reading time. Yeah. All right, that's my intro for that. Anyway, let's mix them up here. Let's tune in. We'll go back here for a second here. Hanging with Aries. All right, Aries. Let's see what the cards are saying. Oh man, I don't know about you guys, but it's been different, hasn't it? But I've also noticed a lot of kind of silver lining and beauty in all these changes, right? So, I mean, I don't know about you, but yeah, I'm sure it's different for everyone. But my dad's an Aries. He's stuck in the hillsides of Thailand. He can't get a flight home. It's been a few months. So that's what he's up to. He's kind of just hanging out by himself and having a lot of time for newness and self-reflection. I think Aries is going through a good, just general, like, feel-good spiritual kind of thing. It feels, your planet's coming out of Pisces, out of the end of the zodiac into the new zodiac. So you're kind of going through this symbolic transformation or death and rebirth, right? So anyway, just wanted to let you guys know I really appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me with Hangin With. This is a part of my spiritual expression and new expression, and I'm trying to have the courage to be me. Hopefully you're having the courage to be you. It's a great time to find new pathways. Everything's getting shooken up so we can do it, right? Got no excuses anymore, right? All right, so Aries, let's start your tarot reading for June 2020. Let's tune into it here. Tarot time. All right. Yeah. Tarot reading. All right, this is my new little graphics I've been playing with. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pick your primary card for the reading here. And your primary card for the reading is, got the Ten of Swords in reverse. So you're over it. You're over feeling over it. You're over feeling overwhelmed, right? Okay, let's see what's influencing this reading. We've got the Six of Wands. We have in the spiritual position, this is the position of the kind of divine guidance or angelic message. I know it's kind of cut off the screen there, but I'll talk to you about it. We got the Judgment card in reverse for your recent past. So things are getting sorted out, so to say. And in my readings in the subconscious realms, this is what's truly motivating this situation you're in here, right? So this is a general reading for Aries, so these will just be some archetypes and themes that you can tune into. In the upcoming future, you have the Five of Wands in reverse. And this is kind of indicative of kind of overcoming some squabbling, things like that. Here's your attitude in the situation. You're virile, you're ready to move forward. It's the Knight of Wands. He's got fire on him. He's got vitality in his hand. He's feeling ready to create and move forward, which makes sense because all your signs are, all your astrology is pointing you in that direction. Now, in your environment, you've got the Tower. The Tower's like, oh shit, shit's fucking breaking down around you. So this could be different for everyone, but okay, we got the Eight of Swords in the position of your greatest hopes and your greatest fears. You're feeling like you're not able to move forward right now, or you're concerned about it. Now, this is wonderful. This is kind of like looking at all the possibilities and opportunities out there. And I think generally for the month between your astrology and your tarot reading here is what we're seeing is, it's kind of a time to really evaluate your resources, right? And it can be everything from financial to who you are, what you have to give, and kind of really making a plan, right? So this is a retrograde motion where you're going to have an opportunity to really kind of see what you're doing moving forward here. All right, so let's tune in here a little bit. Let's look at what this primary card is here. You got the Ten of Swords in reverse. Ten of Swords in reverse is very much about kind of recovering from mental challenges, right? It's regeneration. It can be kind of the inevitable, so to say, right? So, you're going through this, or you've had this opportunity to regenerate yourself. This is kind of what you've been in the middle of right now. So this is very much about letting go of the past, letting go of some old cycles, and kind of embracing some new cycles, but not necessarily knowing where the future is yet, right? So here's your primary card, and your outcome card is kind of like, you're over it, but now you're kind of looking forward here. So, right, so this whole reading is about that in-between state of when you're kind of letting go of something and starting to kind of look forward to the new stuff, right? So it can be that uncomfortable time of transformation, so to say, when you're not really sure what's going on. Let's see. So anyway, you're kind of over this last cycle, and what's influencing this is the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is about public recognition. It's self-confidence. It's moving forward. It's really wanting to move past these old cycles. Maybe you've spent years upset. Maybe you've spent years anxious or depressed, or years in some cycle that wasn't really rejuvenating you, and you just kind of got burnt out on it. So now this new energy is coming along, and you're like, I'm ready to really get that recognition. I'm really ready to start moving forward and create. And I think this is an energy in general that everybody's kind of tuning into right now, which is cool. From the spiritual realms, this is the message from the angels, right? So this is the message that's going to really help give you kind of some sort of focal point to kind of, or totem to kind of work with for the month. Now, the Eight of Wands is typically the card of fast forward movement, but it can mean air travel, it can mean swift change, it can mean action or speed. So, you've kind of got your running shoes on this month. That's what the planets are saying, but just keep in mind, you want to move forward, but you want to move forward with this vision of who you are, this new vision of who you are, and not get wrapped up in other people's shit this month, right? Because there's going to be plenty of invitations for that. So this is a sign of fast forward movement, of moving forward, or you might just find yourself in a lot of fast forward movement. But I'd say usually this is a message for you to focus on. So it's time to move forward. I kind of think you had your time of recuperation and you're ready to move, okay? So in the recent past, we have the Judgment card in reverse. Judgment card in reverse can be a sense of self-doubt, or really not, or it can be self-doubt or not enough of judging yourself, so to say, right? Not enough self-examination, right? So, and this may be kind of what brought you to this point of wanting to move forward is, kind of you were beating your head against the wall, repeating the same patterns, and you weren't getting the results, right? So you're ready to move past that. In the subconscious realms, this is what's truly motivating this action here, right? This opportunity to really want to kind of really recreate yourself here. And that's the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords, it can be a tough one, because if you look at this picture here, here's somebody, the swords represent the mind, right? So here's this person, and he's kind of like in love with his swords, right? And each of those swords could represent thoughts, right? So it's a little bit of egoism, it's a little bit of vanity, right? So we want to make sure that, we're tuning into what we just came out of, so we're not repeating these patterns again, right? This is the cycle that we're talking about. So in the past, there may not have been enough self-examination. What's subconsciously motivating this new movement, fast forward movement forward, is kind of like your thoughts and ideas. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just the thoughts and ideas that we have and our intentions need to be super pure and super clear, because one of the primary things that we're learning here on this planet as we balance masculine and feminine creative energy is that masculine energy and intention, which is very much Aries, right, is all about initiating things, right? And when we initiate things, we're asking the feminine to honor, and to incubate and to put a lot of energy and resources into helping us manifest whatever it is that we're intending, right? So when we do that, we have to make sure that we can live with the result of what we're intending. And the only way we can do that is that if the common good is kind of involved in that initiation, right? So Aries is probably well versed, depending on what level of soul development you're at, as deeply understands that you can initiate things and later cool off on it, and then all of a sudden you're left with the baby, so to say, right? Well, you can't get rid of the baby, right? So you got to live with what you create, and if you can't live with it, don't create it. So make sure that whatever's driving and motivating you to move forward has the common good in mind and not self-focus, okay? Because you got to live with it, okay? So in the upcoming future, we have the Five of Wands in reverse, right? So this is kind of like, we can get into this if we're kind of trying to pull power over other people, right? Or struggling with other people in some manner about creating things, right? Those wands are, you know, I mean, in a real masculine way, could represent the phallus, right? You know, it's your creative potential, right? It's what you create with, so to say, right? So, you know, it can be kind of a bunch of dudes fighting over each other in one real drastic view, right? But generally, it's just symbolic of, you know, your creative force, your creative potential, and coming into conflict with other people, or overcoming conflict, right? So if it's in the reverse position, that's more beneficial because it means you're kind of burnt out on that and you're ready to move forward, right? So that's good. You're learning how to manage other people, not necessarily work with other people, but manage other people, right? Because managing sometimes means like just smiling and walking away and doing what's best for you, right? Who is this guy here, which is the Knight of Wands, and this is in your position of your attitude about the situation, right? And I mean, if there's a, you know, Aries card, this is it. This is the Knight of Fire, right? He's got his wand, he's ready to move forward. It can be, you know, that you're kind of sexually zesty too, you know, but he's got fire on his head. His horse is really charging forward and he's ready to take action, right? So again, this is a month of action for you, but you have to be very mindful. I think what I'm feeling here is that you are going to move forward this month, and what you create and what you have to live with is going to be really obvious. So don't be the fool. Don't be the fool, right? You're the first in the zodiac, sometimes associated with the fool. Don't be the fool. Don't be foolish. Use wisdom. You've gone through a lot of these experiences before. We don't want to repeat anything. So now this is interesting, is in your environment is you got the tower. Well, the tower is like, you know, when we build on sand, everything breaks down, right? You know, so, but this isn't you. This is your environment. This is what's going on around you, right? So, you know, again, you know, I saw stuff that had to do with travel here. Again, like my dad, he's stuck in Thailand, you know? So, you know, shit's going on around him. I guess there's people like climbing in the hills, like eating bugs and shit because there's no food. I mean, so anyway, whatever this means for you is that there could be, you know, drastic changes around you, and you're going to have to kind of navigate the waters with mindfulness and not get caught up in this stuff. But also, you know, you've got all this energy and all this creative potential. Why not direct that towards helping others right now, right? In your environment. Your greatest hopes and greatest fears is the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is kind of mental bondage, right? It's this fear that you're going to be stuck, you know? You're just feeling stuck, right? So again, it's just your hopes and your fears. It has nothing to do with reality, just feeling stuck. And your outcome card here is the Three of Wands. And look at this guy. He's looking out across the land and kind of contemplating his next move, so to say, right? So again, be pure with your intentions so you can live with what you create, because we have to live with it whether we physically do or not in our own conscience, right? So what we want to do is purify. We want to burn away the parts of us that intend things just out of a knee-jerk reaction, right? And we want to move forward with the consciousness of what we're creating. And sometimes, you know, choosing not to create something is also a creation, so to say, right? So, you know, I think that Aries for you is you're basically just kind of getting wise, right? You're getting wise about what you're doing, right? You've gained a lot of wisdom through the years. You've repeated patterns that you don't want to repeat anymore. Now you have a great opportunity to move forward with a lot of energy and a lot of passion and really kind of catapult yourself out of the mundane, so to say. But it has to be done with mindfulness. And so this is going to be your big test. Your big test this summer is your big test to see if you're going to direct it in a manner that's constructive or repeat old patterns that are destructive, right? So just, you know, look at this card, take the time to reflect before you move forward. stand on the hilltop, look over, and decide what you're going to do to kind of really cement that fourth wand into the ground to create a foundation to really make something solid. The 3 wands are already there. You're almost there. Okay? So just be mindful. Sending you guys lots of love. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. This is a passion of mine, and I'm trying to grow it. So if you could subscribe, if you could like, if you could share. I do live tarot readings. I can do a live one personally just for you. Just subscribe, turn on your notifications. A number of times during the month, you'll see me coming up with Street Level Live, and just come on in, ask for a reading, and I'll give you one. So anyway, and also check out my website, street-level.net or streetlevel.live, street-level.net or streetlevel.live. And it'll take you to a website where you can sign up for a personal reading. I have cool products, some cool shirts. I've got flower essences to help, purify your energy and all that stuff. So anyway, nope, looks like I got a call coming in. But anyway, thanks for joining me, Aries. I hope you guys have a great month in June 2020, and sending lots of love. Be real pure about where you're coming from. Take action, do it mindfully. This is time to really wield your power in a way that's helpful to everyone involved.